Hi, this is Jeff, and I wanted to talk to you today about identifying problems that are affecting student grades. Whenever there's a problem and people are trying to figure out why is it affecting the student, you have to define it as some thing or some factor that is interfering with their good performance that is needed for them to earn good grades. And this is true of both high school students and college students. But a problem can mean the absence of something or the presence of something. For example, the absence of studying is a problem, or the presence of something like, being on a sports team. But very often it may not seem like a problem at all because it's fun. But it takes up a lot of time, and that's time that should be spent studying if they're having some problems. There's a pretty clear relationship between high school and college problems, and there's a tendency for them to get worse. Whatever's a problem in high school, they tend to get worse when the student goes to college. But the opposite can be true as well. What doesn't seem like a problem in high school can turn into one in college. So, for example, if a student doesn't have to do a lot of reading, a lot of high school teachers don't go from the book, a lot of college professors do. And the student may not be accustomed to doing a lot of reading, and that can turn into a problem very quickly when they reach college. So why is that? College is a very low structure self-service environment, and being able to work independently and complete everything all on your own is going to be very important. So not only does the academic difficulty increase, but there are other skills that need to be developed during high school that are going to come into play for college. Some examples of the actual problems that students have that I've seen that they've told me about, they can often run into problems asking for help. They may study only their class notes and they ignore either the text readings or the online readings, which show up on an exam. They can procrastinate to the point where they actually panic once the work is due. They get involved in a lot of what I think of as time robber activities like fraternities, sports teams, hanging around with friends. There are just too many to list here. But there are a lot of lessons from the actual students who are out there in the classroom and having problems, and that's where we can learn what's actually going on with them. Some examples of high school problems becoming worse. Somebody who procrastinates a little bit in high school in that low structure environment of college, that just turns into they really don't get anything done. Um, Not doing their required readings, reading the textbook, reading the online journals. Professors draw test questions from those, and that will turn into low scores on exams. A lot of students have told me they did pretty well in high school without doing a whole lot of work. Well, that's something you can't get away with in college. It'll just turn into low grades. The higher education system is just very, very different. And so making the translation into what's needed there is something that's going to be important for preventing problems and identifying them later. College simply requires you to do a lot of work on your own, and being able to work outside of the supervision of teachers and parents, etc., that's going to be the standard. So, in trying to identify problems in college, what I think of is when a bright student begins to work below their potential there. And this is even true for high school. If they're working below their potential, then they're underperforming in one way or another. And being able to identify the problems first. You can't solve the problems until you identify them. That's going to be a key step. But students can often have difficulty expressing what is going on. They may not be able to articulate the problems or even identify what's going off track. And to make it more complicated, these can be true. There can be problems across different areas, and the impact can be very, very hard on them. The problems can range from, not, like I said, not doing the required readings, not studying, or ever having learned to study. Some students have told me writing in different formats, interacting with professors, asking for help. A lot of things can be there. So what I've done is I've set up a help tool, something to identify the the problems that are, again, by definition, that interfere with student grades. And the self-assessment is set up for college, and I also did a high school version. So there are two versions of this as well. It's found in the learning section of my college strategy blog website. And what's really neat is you can download the results, the actual student answers, in a PDF format, and it gives you an explanation of what good students do on that topic and what underperformers tend to do, just to give you an idea of how to fix it. But then that can be shared in the PDF format with tutors, therapists. I've had pediatricians get it, psychologists get it, school disability departments, college advisors, and that can be really useful. So just to summarize, when you're trying to identify problems that are affecting student grades, being able to describe them and accurately identify them is the very first step to solving them. That's going to be the most important. These problems can occur across many areas, like doing required readings, mastering different writing formats, asking for help, interacting with professors, many areas. So again, the help tool that I set up is the student self-assessment for academic underperformance. It's in the learning section of my website. The greatest feature, in my opinion, is it's downloadable in a PDF, and I've had a lot of students share it with me, and again, share it with others, and that is the basis for the plan of action. Identifying the problems is the first step in solving them, and then developing a plan and following through on it is what rounds that out. Thank you for watching my video, and I look forward to making more for you.